Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Oaklawn Park here on Sunday. It is the 23rd of February, 2025. It's Rebel Day from Oaklawn, and we're going to look at the Rebel Stakes and all the other stakes races on the program. Before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And join me next Saturday for an extravaganza of racing on both sides of the coast. You have the Fountain of Youth from Gulfstream, you have the Gotham here in New York at Aqueduct, and you have the Santa Anita Handicap. So just in general, it's always one of my favorite racing days of the year. So just join me here on YouTube for my analysis of all those races. I can't wait for that. But very good Rebel Stakes this year. Very good card here. I think you make some definitely make some money with these stakes races. So we're gonna look at these stakes races 4, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So quite a few races to look at right now. Let's get to the fourth race, which is the Carousel Stakes. It's going for a purse of $150,000 here. Races for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds, and upwards. Field of 9 horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the main track. I'm going to go with 3-horse Justique as a top selection. We're going to go 3-8-1-5 in the superfecta. 3-8-1-5 super. Top selection of the 3-horse Justique. This 5-year-old mare by Justify. Cherie DeVoe trains. Jose Ortiz comes in from New Orleans to ride this horse. They ran the horse most recently on the 2nd of January at the fairgrounds. 6 furlongs and Ops 50 claimer. First time on the in the Midwest. The horse didn't run half bad. He actually got the winner's circle picture. He won by 3 1/4 lengths that day, and he sat back off of a good pace in front of him, quickened up nicely. 109 and 3, 93 buyer, cutting back and trip back to dirt for the first time in quite a few seasons. I thought that was a very good effort. Coming here today, where I'll see a very strong pace in front of him, I think he can find the trip to win to the winner circle again. He came 2 back in Del Mar in the care of John Sheriffs in the Osanita Stakes, a mile on the Jimmy Durante turf course, and he finished 6 by 6 lengths that day, and he just sat back early. He never had the trip, and he was just never comfortable that day. It wasn't his day to win. Again, grade 1 quality horses in the West Coast in the game league prior to that, a mile and 8 at Santa Anita, he finished 7 by 4 lengths, and again, not the best beginnings, and just not the best trips either, and also just got outclassed by the other ones. The Royal Heroine Mile wasn't a bad race at Santa Anita back in late April of last year, where he had a decent place that day at 8.5 to 1, where he just missed late. He just got caught at the wire, but again, he ran his heart out. He hasn't before last victory. If you want to go back to his previous victory, you have to go back to early 2023, late 2022. That's where he's really running good races. But if you go back to those runs, the dirt races weren't bad at all. Actually, 8-3 on dirt has been on dirt quite a while in recent memories, but when you go through those starts weren't bad at all. Training well on the dirt at the fairgrounds, should see a strong pace to close into this one. At 5-2, I'm going to use this horse here. I think the 8-horse Lady Moscato for Keith Asmussen and D. Wayne Lucas going also. Most recently in the Bugler Stakes over the 6 here at Oaklawn in January, she won by 3 lengths that day and had a bit of a wide start that day, but after that went straight to the pace and kicked home clear. 86 buyer. She ran the race for her life that day. She likes running on this track. She's 5 for 3 on the Oaklawn surface. Oaklawn is the horse for course kind of course, if you know what I mean. But she really ran terrifically. One of her only losses on this track came off the bench on the 22nd of December locally. 6 furlongs and option 100, where she finished 4th by 1/2 lengths that day, and she just was flat that day. I do think she needed the race, and then she had a bit of a trouble trip at Keelan going 6 and option 125, where she finished 3rd by 4 3/4 lengths, where she never really got going. Races up at Saratoga over the summer, I thought she just saw some tough competition. She lost to Bright Work and Miss Justify in the Wilton. Back to 6, back to Oaklawn, where she really likes running these good races. At 7-2, let's use her in the multi-race. But to recap my selection of the 4th from Oaklawn's to Carousel, I'm going to take the 3-horse Justique, give kudos to the 8-horse Lady Moscato, 3-8-1-5 Super, 3-8 in the multi-race. Let's get over to race number 8 now from Oaklawn, what is the Trivista Overnight Stakes. It's going for $145,000 purse races for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. A field of 11 horses going the distance of a ground of 1,700 meters or a mile 16th on the Oaklawn main track. I'm going to go take the number 10 horse here, Amber Cascade. I'm going to go 10-3-5-8 in the superfecta. 10-3-5-8 super. Top selection 10 horse, Amber Cascade. 5-year-old mare by Free Drop Billy. Cherie DeVoe trains. Jose Ortiz again gets to mount. The horse's most recent outing came 17th of January at the fairgrounds, mile 16th and option 50 claimer. And the horse won by 3.5 lengths that day. And again, sitting back early, he slowly moved his way into the race. race, and he took a good advantage with the long stretch of the fairgrounds. He came home clear, a very strong run, coming to Oaklawn for the first time. Not the world's deepest race. I think you can find the trip to win here. 8th of November was the previous race at Churchill, mile and eighth and Option Lady Claimer, and she finished second by a neck that day. And again, was a little bit wide, but was grinding it out to the wire. The winner, who's running back this one, just gamed it to the wire late. But this horse, or on the front end, but this horse, she ran her heart out that day. And then 20th September at Churchill, mile 16th and, allowance 125 Claimer, went by a neck that day. Again, stupidly wide, but she got there in nick of time. A very good run. Most recent form has been half bad. Has definitely run races fast enough that can win here. I'm going to use this horse as the shot on the ticket. I think the free horse here, who is Brightly Ferry for Dylan Davis and Tom Amos going also, was a winner at the fairgrounds on the 20th of January, going a mile 16th in allowance race 59,000, won by 2 lengths. Another wide trip early on, but saved some ground after that, and that's what got this horse to the winner's circle, winning by 2 lengths, closing up. And it was a very good run that day. Prior to that, the run in the mud Churchill, mile 16th in allowance race for 130,000, where she finished eighth by 9 3/4 lengths that day, where she just never really got going. Going about the quarter on the slop in September at Churchill, she ran her heart out. She finished second by 3/4 length, and she was just gaming it to the wire. She just missed late, but again, not a bad race in the feed. Started once here at Oaklawn last March, where she just had a horrible, horrible race, finishing 10th by 12 and 3 1/4 lengths. She was just not getting out of the gate, so clearly she was wide. It wasn't a recipe for success, but that was the changing point in her form cycle. Since then, she's run these terrific races and has been running decent buyers. Coming here at 12-1, back to Oaklawn, I think she could get some redemption. Let's use her in the pick five that begins with this race. But to recap my selection for the eighth from Oaklawn, it's Trivista Stakes. Going to take the 10-horse Amber Cascade. Give kudos to the 3-horse Broadleaf Ferry. 10-3-5-8 Super. 10-3 in the multi-race. The ninth race now from Oaklawn, it is the Honeybee Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a $500,000 purse. Races for 3-year-old fillies. A baker's dozen are going to the starting gate, positioned at the 16th pole, so that means they're going a mile 16th on the main track. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 5 horse, who is Quick Kick. 5-13-1-9 for me in the superfecta. 5-13-1-9 super. Top selection of 5 horse Quick Kick. This 3-year-old Philip McKenzie. Tom Amos trains. Dylan Davis comes in from South Florida to ride this horse. Most recently ran the horse on the 1st November at Del Mar, mile 16th in the Breeders' Cup Fillies. Finished third by 6 lengths that day. And again, she doesn't get out of the gate clearly sometimes, which is not a good thing for her. 13 horses in this race. She's gonna have to get out of the gate a little better than she did in the Breeders' Cup, because she completely missed a break that day. She had a lot of ground to gain, but she ran a decent third place finish behind Immersive and Baca with a twist. I thought it was a decent effort. Hopefully coming to the 3-year-old campaign here today. Hopefully getting out of the gate easy. If she could do that, I think she can run a good race here today. She's definitely run decent race that could get the winning check here today. Again, not the best beginnings in the Alcibiades at Keeneland, mile 16th on the 4th of October, but she finished second by 1/4 lengths beyond the Breeders' Cup winner Immersive that day. Again, a lot of ground to gain, a little bit wide, a lot of dirt in the face, but she ran her heart out that day. And then Saratoga on Labor Day weekend, closing weekend, 7 furlongs in the main special weight, winning by 2 1/4 lengths. Again, she sat back early, a little bit wide, but she flew home clear. For it being her second start, I thought that was a very good effort that day with the 79 buyer. And then on debut, even in mid-August at Saratoga, going 7 in a main special weight, she finished third by 9 1/4 lengths, going steady, actually beat finished second running back. This one, Lakara, who won that day, was the next start winner. This horse is wide, but again, she showed potential. I would have liked to see a little bit more gate workout since the Breeders' Cup. We haven't, unfortunately, but I think she's going to really improve to the 3-year-old campaign here today. Decent runs as a 2-year-old. 12-1, I'm going to use her. I wish the 13-horse 5G would have had a better posture. It's hard to win from the wide postures going 2 turns at Oaklawn. Even 1 turn at Oaklawn is hard to win from the wide postures, but for the 13-horse 5G, it's just not ideal. But her race most recently in the cash run was incredible. I thought at Goldstrom on New Year's Day, the 1-turn mile, won by 9 lengths from the rail. She really took off clear. She could have won around another 5 times. She ran prior to around 2 turns on the grass in the Tempin at Aqueduct in the fall, where she finished second by a half length. She got caught at the wire, right before the wire, but she ran her heart out that day. And then in the main special weight for State Birds at Aqueduct going mile 16th, she won by 4 lengths. And again, from a tracking trip, she could have probably won by more, but Kendrick eased up the horse late. I thought that was a very good race. If you look at some of the races she ran against on debut, some of the horses she ran against on debut at Saratoga, 22nd of August race going six in the main special weight for state breds. I thought that was a very good race. She finished seventh by 22 lengths, where she was wide, just not getting into it. Quite a few horses out of that race were next star winners, including this one. So, just keep an eye on that race for those state bred horses. But since that race, she's really improved a lot. Last one was quite impressive. She's bred to go two turns, but the wide poster does scare me here today with her. But she is training well at 4-1. Let's use her on the ticket, but I do like quick kick from that close draw. But it's a very good Honeybee, so I think you make some money here. But to recount my selection for the ninth from Oaklawn now, it's a grade 3 Honeybee. We're gonna go take the number 5 horse quick kick. Give kudos to the 13 horse 5G. Where are we? 51319 Super 513 in the multi race. Heading over to race number 10 now. The 10th race from Oaklawn. It is the Razorback Handicap. It's a grade 3 event going for a $500,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards here. We have a field of 14 horses entered. Full starting gate going 1,700 meters or a mile 16th here in the Razorback. I'm going to go take the 10 horse Cook Creek as a top selection. We're going to go 10-3, 5-6 in the superfecta. 10-3, 5-6 super. Top selection 10 horse Cook Creek. This 6-year-old gelding by Uncle Mo. Mike Maker trains. Irad Ortiz Jr. gets the mount. Ran the horse most recently, 18th of January at the Fairgrounds on the slop, mile 16th in the Louisiana Stakes, and finished sixth by 4.5 lengths that day, and just was flat, was wide. I don't know if the horse liked the wet going. Hit Show really ran terrifically, but this horse just wasn't into it. I think coming here to Oaklawn, not as tough of a race as the Louisiana Stakes, I think he could find a trip to win. He ran two tough competition in the Clark Handicap, Clark Stakes now, two back at Churchill, mile and eighth on the 29th of November. Rattle and Roll was next start winner on Saturday. Ran a respectable race in the Saturday Cup on Saturday, but this horse finished six by 7 lengths in the Clark. Was with him early on, but then just kind of hit the wall late, stumbled out of the gate. It just wasn't a recipe for success. In the Lucas Classic, this horse ran his heart out behind Hit Show. Hit Show again, next start winner there. Mile and eighth on the soft. This horse finished second by a neck. He got caught at the wire. He had a bit of a wide trip, but he ran his heart out that day. And then the slop mid-August, Saratoga and Optional 80, won by 2.25 lengths. Only had three other rivals. Basically one in a hand ride. A very, very good race. The form since coming to the new barn, I thought that was pretty good. Won 27th of May and a claim of 40,000, winning by 2 lengths on the front end. Came back to run an optional 80 for the new connections, winning by 5.25 lengths, and then won that very nice lounge race at Saratoga. Back to stakes quality horses here today, not the world's deepest race, getting a high ride up. Gonna have to overcome a wide trip, but I think you could find a trip to get that winner circle check. I also think the 3 horse first mission for Florent Godolphin and Brad Cox going also. Always been a fan of this horse, but he's just never gotten to that next step yet against grade 1 quality horses. He won in Lexington as a 3-year-old a couple seasons ago quite nicely at Keeneland by half length. Unfortunately, missed the Derby after that. Came back to run 6 months later at Keeneland, where he put on a 94 Byron and a victor there, and ran the Clark of 23 at Churchill, where he had a massive placing with a 102 Buyer. He just missed late, but he ran his heart out. And then against grade 1 quality horses, he just floundered last year in the Pegasus. He just completely missed it. Came back to win the Essex on this track quite nicely, and came back to win on Derby Day in a 106 Buyer performance in the Ali Sheba, winning by 4 lengths. I thought that was a very, very good race. Came back to run the Stephen Foster, where he just came back flat, and then in the Whitney, even flatter. A lot of horses did not run their A race in the Whitney last year. I thought it was a track, but this horse, he just completely stuck up the pace. Coming here off the bench, Brad Cox, great numbers, 37% off the long refreshing, getting a good post draw. I think this horse could get some redemption. I think at 5-1 is going to be probably one of the best prices you could get on this horse in recent memory. So let's use him in the pick 5. But to recount my selection now for the 10th from Oaklawn, it's the Razorback Handicap. Going to take the 10 horse Cook Creek. Give kudos to the 3 horse first mission. 10-3, 5-6 super. 10-3 in the multi race. The featured 11th race now from Oaklawn. It is the Rebel Stakes. It's a grade 2 event going for a $1.25 million purse race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 14 horses entered to go 1,700 meters or mile 16th in the Rebel. One of my favorite Rebel memories from years past, you have to go back to about 2005. Fleet Alex actually ran in the Rebel. A week prior, he actually ran in like a overnight stakes going 6 furlongs, and I think he might have won that 6 furlong race or placed in it. Came back to run a Rebel a week later and just stunk up the place. So every time I think about the Rebel, I always think about a Fleet Alex running the week before and coming back on a week's rest and just stinking up the place. But we know what he did after that, especially that Preakness performance. That was quite impressive after all that drama. But my top selection this year's Rebel, I'm going to go with the number 10 horse Bullard. I'm going to go 10-2. 13-11 in the superfecta, 10-2, 13-11 super, top selection 10 horse Bullard. This 3-year-old colt by gun runner Mike McCarthy trains. Umberto Spoli comes in from Southern California to ride this horse. They ran the horse cutting back 7 furlongs in the San Vicente most recently, 4th of January at Santa Anita, where he finished third by 6 lengths. Barnes took off clear, is probably the leading candidate for the Derby Trail right now, along with the other stablemate for Baffert. But this horse, he was just wide and he just wouldn't keep up over 7. I do think his better trip's going to come around in 2 turns, routing. He's going to get it today. He's going to be probably forwardly paced from where he's drawn to get good position. He's probably going to, not save as much ground at that first turn as in the second, but I think he has the momentum to find a trip to win here today. They think highly of him. They bumped her, $675,000 quite a few seasons ago at Keeneland, but, decent. I didn't think it was a half bad race in the San Vicente. He ran terrifically, though, two back in the Bob Hope at Del Mar, 7 17th of November, winning by 4 3/4 lengths, sitting back early. You saw a good place to close up into, and he did just that. An all around great effort with the 89 buyer. And then on Labor Day weekend at Del Mar on debut, 6 furlongs in the main special weight, won by 1 1/4 lengths. He was very wide that day, a little rambunctious before the race also, but he concentrated to the task. He closed up into it, a very good race. He's training well at Santina, coming here to the Midwest. I'm going to give him a shot on the ticket. I think the 2 horse Admiral Dennis for Florent Bradcox could win also. Most recently, an optional 100th Fairgrounds going mile 16th in January. The horse won by 3/4 length and a dream tracking trip, was a little bit wide, but he flew home clear in the lane. A very good run for this horse that day. They tried stakes quality horses prior to that in the gun runner right before Christmas at the fairgrounds. Over the mile 16th, he just finished fourth by 16 1/2 lengths. He was not getting out of the gate so clearly. He was a little bit wide, and he just was behind the 8 ball. I thought they were asking a little bit too much too soon, but he really improved with the next race. And then on the 7th of November over the 1 turn mile at Churchill, and that main special weight went by 3 3/4 lengths. He had a wide trip, but he flew home clear. A very respectable 83 buyer. Another horse around 2 turns, drawn very well. Should find a good trip from where he's drawn. At 12 to 1, it wouldn't surprise me if he finds the winner circle. Even the 13 horse Tiztastic for Steve Absison and Jose Ortiz. He ran in the Southwest here a few weeks ago where he just had a little bit of traffic trouble around the far turn, but he had a decent third that day. Prior to that, in the Kentucky Jockey Club, he just needed that extra turn of foot, but he got down the race course well. And then, a decent place in the street sense. He's been close but no cigar. He'll probably see a good place to close up into this one. Ideally not the best post draw, but I'll give him a shot here on the ticket. He has that kind of. If you look at his 2 victors, they both have come on turf, and he has that turf turn of foot. Let's see if it translates to dirt here today at 8 to 1. Let's give him a shot here in this very wide open rebel. Like I said, with these stakes race today, you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna find short prices in these races. I think they're gonna pay quite nicely. But to recap my selection now for the 11th from Oaklawn, it is the grade 2 Rebel. It's the top selection. We're going to take the 10 horse Bullard to give kudos to the 2 horse Admiral Dennis and the 13 horse Tistastic. 10-2, 13-11 Super, 10-2, 13 in the multi race. So that was 10-2, 13-11 Super, 10-2, 13 in the pick 4 to end it off, or pick 5, where whatever we decide to play. With that being said, good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody.